Oh, whoops. I was meant to start with bow, 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 bow. G'day, battlers, and we are trying something new. We are going to be shoutcasting my Wildcard, Continentals, Qualifier, Sorcerous Cup tournament. So yeah, a whole lot of words there. Not really sure what the order should be, but yeah, basically we are going to be shoutcasting the qualifier tournament that I did for Continentals, and we're going to be doing that in this sort of experimental fashion. I've uploaded this video, which is 44 minutes, so it is very long, but I've recorded the whole video, and basically we're going to be going back and forth between this, which is the footage, and the Sylph tournament link. So this was my little group here, the number 5 APAC region one. So we got 2, little bit of a spoiler about who wins. But yeah, basically what we're going to do is we're going to be able to type in our opponents in here, and then we can pull up their team down here. So we've got their team here. So anyway, let's actually start off with my team though, because that is the flavor of the video. So we're going to be seeing that a whole lot. So starting off with my team. So, let's just go through it. So I've got Azumarill, who is like the bulk master of this cup. Like, Azumarill was kind of a lock for my team, because I was like, okay, it's such a good safe switch. As long as they don't have Skuntank, it's a really good safe switch on your team in the Sorcerous Cup. So that was kind of a lock on my team. And the other lock was Frostlass. So I really wanted that Azumarill and Frostlass on my team. So yeah, that were basically my starting point. And I do want to give it a shout out to Dr. Trotter, because I kind of talked with him the night before. He called me up on Discord, did a couple of battles in Twitch too. So yeah, he kind of helped me get into a different mindset in building my team together. So anyway, I originally had Alolan Muck in this next slot, but I kind of found that Alolan Muck didn't provide enough enough Azumarill coverage. So I decided to replace it with Skuntank so that we can, get those poison jabs going. It just gives you a bit more coverage, basically. That was my thinking. So we went in with the Skuntank, and we were just going with the Sludge Bomb set. We didn't bring in the Flamethrower, so yeah, we just went Crunch Sludge Bomb. That's how we went, because we really did want that Azumarill coverage. So then we brought in Munchlax. Now, Munchlax is one that was not on my Sorcerer's Cup team beforehand. Now, the reason I brought in Munchlax was because I woke up, there were 4 of the Continentals that had already finished. As we saw before, this is number 5. So the 4 that finished before, I was looking at the winners' teams, and all 4 of them had Munchlax. And I was like, oh, are they onto something? Is Munchlax good in this cup? So I was like, okay, maybe I've neglected Munchlax. So I dived into PvP Poke. I was like, all right, what can Munchlax do? Let's take a look. And then I was like, oh, Munchlax is good. I actually really like Munchlax. So yeah, Munchlax was then something that found its way onto my team. It can cover so many good matchups. Like, it kind of beats heaps of stuff that you don't realize that it would beat, just going straight body slam. So yeah, we'll see plenty of Munchlax play later on in this live streamy video sort of deal. And next on our team is Hypno. Hypno was kind of underwhelming for me in this cup. So I actually only used it twice in the entire 7 rounds of the tournament. So that was a bit of a, I really just didn't use it. That's the deal. Look, we'll see a little bit of Hypno. We're not going to see lots of Hypno. But I decided to run Fire Punch and Thunder Punch. Thunder Punch was like a lock for me, because I was like, okay, we need that Azumarill coverage. And then Fire Punch was kind of an unexpected, go the double elemental, and then you can also hit Frostlass, you can hit Bronzong, and you can get to it kind of quick. So that was kind of my thinking there. And then that last slot on the team is the Toxicroak. So, Toxicroak kind of just fills up that coverage, gives you some of that play up against the Dark Poisons, which Munchlax kind of does, but not to the solid, not as much as you would like, basically. And he also wanted to discourage too much poison damage from coming in and wrecking Azumarill and Frostlass's day. So that is the main reason why they were there. But with that said, I think we can finally get going. No, I don't think this is my team in any other tournaments. I changed it exactly for this tournament. So with that out of the way, let's get into my first opponent's team. Magi, I think. Oh no, okay. This is going to take a little bit of getting used to. It's Mugi. M-U-G-I. So Mugiwara's team, and they did drop out in round 2 because they weren't. So they had Azumarill, Toxicroak, Munchlax, Bronzong, Frostlass, and Skuntank. So this is basically the meta team in the Sorcerous Cup. Like, this is the line. My team is almost identical, except I had Hypno instead of Bronzong. Maybe that was a mistake on my part, but anyway, yeah, this is basically the same team. So I decided that I was going to run Azumarill in the lead, because Azumarill can pretty much beat all of these guys except the Skuntank. Skuntank's kind of the only thing we don't want to see in the lead. So then we're going to have Frostlass in the back, because we're kind of going to try and keep our shields for the Frostlass. And then we're going to bring Munchlax in as kind of the safe swap. So we bring in the Azumarill in the lead, and then if Skuntank is the opposing lead, we'll switch into Munchlax. So with that said, I think we can hop over to the tournament and get this thing going. All right, so got the intro. And all right, going into round tournament, going with the Azumarill, and we have Skuntank on the opposing team. So we're like, oh dear, that's not what we wanted to see. So we switch into Munchlax, and they switch into Toxicroak. So this is kind of all right for us. We farmed up a bit of extra energy to maybe like threaten the Bulldoze in case they weren't counting. And they do burn the shields. So that actually worked out really well for us. We're happy to let Toxicroak go down though. So kind of also very happy that they're using their energy. We're like, yeah, throw the Mud Bomb, take us out. So we're going to, I thought we would be able to get to another Mud Bomb, but unfortunately not. We're going to bring in the Azumarill here. Azumarill is obviously going to be not in a great spot if we get hit by a Sludge Bomb, but we're happy to let it go down so that Frostlass can have the shields, but he actually goes for the Mud Bomb. So we were kind of sitting there going, okay, this has actually gone really well. Like, he's really trying to get our shields off of us, which is, I mean, it's probably the right play on their part, but little did they know, we were just really happy to let Azumarill go down. So we're actually able to get to a player after take out the Toxicroak. Skuntank is going to be coming back in here, and yeah, here it is. Basically had to throw the energy or let us get a player off. So they went for the energy, but they threw the crunch, really trying to get that shield off us. And that, unfortunately for them, actually lets us get this player off. We're just gonna chunk down that Skuntank. Switch into Frostlass, just gonna farm up tons of energy. We've still got 2 shields, so we're gonna burn 1 shield here. And then we might have to burn another shield to take out the Skuntank, but we should be able to Powder Snow all the way down. But they actually switch out into Bronzong. At this point, we're like, okay, this is sick. Like, this is just going perfectly for us. We can throw this Shadow Ball. They actually decide to not shield, so I think that was like their only win condition left. Like, if I went for an avalanche bait, but we weren't really too concerned about the last shield they had, and at this point they're just going to let it go down. So that definitely went very much in our favor, even though we'd lost the lead. Going into game 2, we have the exact same lineup, and this time we actually get a good lead. So going from bad lead to good lead, let's see how we can do with a good lead. So it looks like they're staying in, which is definitely interesting. So we're just going to let this come through. It's going to be a Shadow Ball, because there's really no reason to go for Avalanche instead of Shadow Ball when you're up against an Azumarill, because there's so little energy difference between the Frostlass and between the Avalanche and the Shadow Ball. So yeah, we just let it come through, throw the player off and burning 1 shield. So at this point, we're kind of like, okay, they've burned 1 shield here. Maybe if we burn a shield here, we'll be able to get to another player off, and then we can maybe threaten that second shield off of the opponent, like just in the first, like in the lead matchup, which would definitely be great for us. And then after, we can let the Azumarill go down. And they do burn that shield, so this is basically fantastic for us. We're expecting them to throw another Shadow Ball to take us out here. And I mean, worst case is an Avalanche bait, but I don't think they're going to be going for too many baits in this battle after the last round. So let Azumarill go down, bring in Munchlax, because he's going to be able to do tons of lick damage. Even if we get hit by an Avalanche, it's only going to take half of our health. And unfortunately, we panicked a little bit, clicked the Body Slam, and they actually get the CMP tie anyway. Waste of energy for Munchlax. We don't hit any bubbles, so that we can at least lick down to get a little bit of energy back. Take down the Frostlass, and then in comes Toxicroak. So this time we switched straight into Frostlass because they had no shields left. So we were going to go straight for the Shadow Ball. They switch out, we were kind of prepared for, because we didn't go for it straight away, but unfortunately they switch out into Azumarill. And in this spot, we aren't in a great spot. We still have a shield, so we're going to be able to shield up this first player from the Azumarill, and we get this Shadow Ball off. But it's really not a great spot, because we learn that Azumarill is going to be able to get a charge move off any second now. I think he's almost got room for 2, so we shield up the first one. Is he going to be able to get to another one? He might be able to. No, actually, we've Powder Snow all the way down, but a Mud Bomb from Toxicroak would definitely take us out from here. And unfortunately, the Toxicroak takes the CMP tie, gonna hit us down, and then down goes Frostlass. In comes Munchlax, and we are able to get to the Body Slam, but at this range, it's not going to be able to take out the Toxicroak. So unfortunately, gonna lose game 2 here. Kind of, I guess it was because we didn't get the charge move off on the Toxicroak. Like, if we landed that, we would have won the game. So anyway, going to game 3. going with Munchlax in the lead now, and then Frostlass and Hypno in the back. So here's one of the games where we do bring in Hypno. Now, Munchlax is not in a great spot up against Azumarill. It isn't actually the worst. So I think in this matchup, Munchlax can actually win if you shield up the Hydro Pump. So if they go for a Play Rough and you don't shield, and then they go for a Hydro Pump and you shield, you do win the matchup. So unfortunately for us, they just landed the Hydro Pump. So we were like, okay, we just lost this matchup. So I guess Munchlax is going down no matter what. So we're just going to keep going for Body Slams though. Just keep chunking down this Azumarill, and then we're going to be able to bring in the Hypno to take out the Azumarill in the end, basically. That is our game plan. So we don't want to... we didn't actually hit too many bubbles because we wanted Hypno to be able to come in and farm, but they actually burned a shield, which let them farm us all the way down, which is actually kind of good for them because they have tons of energy now. We bring in Hypno. We know Hypno is going to be able to tank even a Hydro Pump, so it doesn't matter too much. It's just a Play Rough though, so we're actually switching out into Munchlax. So at this point, we're like, this isn't great. Because we've got Frostlass and Hypno. Both of them are going to be weak to the Munchlax, so we decide to leave in Hypno, don't give him any shields, so that we can give the shields to Frostlass in the back, because we feel like Frostlass has a better chance of taking down the Munchlax. So throw a Fire Punch, because now the Munchlax is going to be in an Avalanche range. So if this Avalanche goes through, Munchlax is going to be taken out, which is definitely what we need at this point. Fantastic for us. Little bit flag there by the seams of it. But in comes Frostlass in the back. So it looks like he was also keeping his shields for the Frostlass. So, I mean, that's obviously smart because that's kind of what you need in this cup. This whole video is going to be a Frostlass ad, basically. But they burn the shield on the Shadow Ball. We're just going to shield this up. And it was a Shadow Ball. We were kind of thinking that it was maybe going to be an Avalanche bait, but we really didn't need to risk it, especially when we still have 2 shields. We actually expected that to happen, the Azumarill switch in, and for that exact reason, we did not throw the charge move straight away. Throw the Avalanche is going to take out the Azumarill, and then we're going to be able to get to a Shadow Ball before Frostlass could get to 2. So I think they basically had the Shadow Ball anyway, but even if they threw it, we had a shield, we would be able to get this Shadow Ball back, and that takes out round 1. So GG's there, and now we're going to go back over to the taunt page, and we're going to go into the search thing, back. And we'll type in Sammy, and we should see the next opponent's team. So up against Sammy Trailer. So Sammy Trailer is running a pretty interesting team here. They've got Linoon, Toxicroak, Azumarill, Golbat, Claydol, and Alolan Mark. Just need to clear my throat. So yeah, this is very interesting. They've got a lot of kind of, I guess they've got stuff that's weak to Toxicroak in a way. Like Linoon is weak, Alolan Mark is weak, Toxicroak is kind of iffy, Azumarill is kind of iffy. Golbat is, I mean, it's not good for Toxicroak. And then Claydol, we're kind of thinking that Claydol probably has Mud Slap and not Confusion. So we're actually not in a bad spot there. So we're going to bring in Toxicroak in the lead, and then we're going to bring in that little core of Azumarill, Frostlass in the back. So we'll lead with Toxicroak, and if we get caught in a bad matchup, literally any of these bad matchups, we'll be able to use Azumarill as a safe swap, especially because they don't have that heavy poison damage. Like maybe they have Alolan Mark as a poison jabber, but at this point, we're definitely looking pretty good to be able to use Azumarill as a safe switch, and then Frostlass in the back. So we can actually already see here that we have definitely caught the lead hard with Toxicroak up against Alolan Mark. This is basically the best lead that we could get. And we're waiting for the switch out, and they're not switching out. So we're kind of like, okay, well, we have lots of energy now. They bring in Golbat, and we kind of foolishly maybe switch into to Azumarill, because Poison Fang is obviously going to be super effective here, which is not great for us at all. So I think I maybe should have gone for the Frostlass instead. But at the same time, I kind of wanted to keep Frostlass in the back, as I did in that round 1. I was like, well, round 1 went so great with just keeping Frostlass in the back. Why not just do that again? But yeah, we go for the Hydro Pump, and unfortunately it's shielded. I say unfortunately, but we are kind of playing for the shield advantage. So looks like they farmed us all the way. Did really good farm on their end, farming up exactly enough so that I couldn't get a Play Rough off. So that Poison Fang takes us out. Now we're going to bring in the Frostlass. So we kind of sacrificed that Azumarill to take a shield and lots of health off the Golbat. So it's not the worst play. We shield up because we didn't want to get hit by a Shadow Ball, and luckily we were right there. We decided to not go for the Avalanche and go for the Farm Down, and they actually do go down. So I assume they were going for another another Shadow Ball and didn't get to it. Bring in the Alolan Mark and actually go for a quick move before the charge move, which is definitely good for us. They let it go though, because they knew that Toxicroak would be able to farm down, I guess. So they actually had Toxicroak in the back. So keeping the shield for the Toxicroak, because they knew they would need it for the Toxicroak mirror, because I have lots of energy on mine. Unfortunately for him, I did have 2 back-to-back mud bombs charged up and ready to go, so that is going to be able to go through. And then we still have a shield, so we can actually get to another mud bomb. Looks like they were just ready to go down. Like, I knew they'd lost, so they just didn't go for the charge move. And this will take out the Toxicroak and take game 1 of round 2. So doing pretty good at this point. Going into game 2, we go in the exact same lineup again. This time we have Claydol, so this is not good, even if it's just a mud slap. It's not good at all, so we switch into that safe switch Azumarill. Let's just get a little bit of energy, and in comes the Linoon. So Linoon probably has Grass Knot, which is not going to be Azumarill's favorite thing to eat. It is going to be able to eat one, though. We go straight for the Hydro Pump and burn another shield. So again, we're kind of happy to be able to burn these shields off of our opponents, even if we're not landing like the big old move. So let this come through. It is a Grass Knot. We're going to be able to tank it and then hope that we can get another Play Rough off. Maybe we should have gone for the Hydro Pump to kind of threaten, put a little bit more pressure for him to have to burn another shield maybe, or go for a charge move, use his energy, because as he is, he's going to be able to Shadow Claw us down. We're going to bring in the Toxicroak because we know that Claydol is going to be up against that Toxicroak. So we actually also let this charge move come through because we want Toxicroak to get a little bit weaker. So down goes the Linoon. And then Claydol going to come back in. We decide to switch out into Frostlass instantly to get a little bit of an energy advantage, expecting them to switch out. And they switch out into a Alolan Muck. So we're going to get this Avalanche off. Does half of Alolan Muck's health. And then I'm just going to keep going. We've got 2 shields. We're going to be able to outpace this Muck. Get to another Avalanche, actually. So I'm not sure if they were over farming or they're just like getting heaps of energy and then we're going to use this shield. Or maybe it's a CMP tie, or I'm not really sure. But we burn a shield here on the Dark Pulse. And then we are going to be able to get to another Avalanche before Alolan Muck can get to another charge move. So here it goes. This will take out the Alolan Muck. And then Claydol's going to come back in. Claydol probably has a charge move ready to go at this point. So we tried to switch out into Toxicroak to tank it. Unfortunately, we weren't quick enough on the taps there. So Shield Up and Earth Power. Luckily, we don't get debuffed. And then we were kind of like, okay, can we get to an Avalanche? I feel like we can't. But we just clutch able to get the Avalanche off. So that is definitely... It was lucky. It was very lucky because that does take out the Claydol. And we were actually prepared to switch into the Toxicroak to try to get a quick charge move, but we have taken round 2 at this point. But this is game 3 of round 2. And Azumarill up against Alolan Muck is actually pretty good when it has Snarl. We're going to be able to win the 1 shield. They switch out into Toxicroak, which actually isn't a bad matchup for Azumarill at all. The only reason it's bad for Azumarill is when... you're in the lead, even energy situation. So we land a Play Rough and then switch into Frostlass, which maybe wasn't the best play, especially when I was trying to keep Frostlass around, I guess. We tank the Mud Bomb. So we're definitely playing this very differently to how we played the last, I guess, 5 games. But we go straight for the Avalanche because we knew Alolan Muck was going to be coming in there, and it's going to be able to take out half of Alolan Muck's health again if it goes through. Doesn't go through, so burning a shield, going to be able to get another one off before a Dark Pulse comes through. We're definitely hoping they were like maybe going for the Dark Pulse and then we CMP tied it or something, but land that. Probably going to snarl us down at this point, and yeah, do take us out before an Avalanche can get sent. We're going to bring in Munchlax? Yeah, bring in Munchlax. Going to be doing pretty good in this spot. Tank this charge move, doesn't really matter. Yeah, get hit by a Dark Pulse. And just going to lick down by the looks of it. Yep, lick all the way down. So they've got a fair little bit of energy. And they've just got Azumarill in the back. So we still have 2 shields. So we're kind of like, all right, well, we have our Azumarill that's just hanging out in the back. We've got our Munchlax here. Munchlax is going to be doing pretty good. So we land a Body Slam and then bring in Azumarill so that we didn't have too much of an energy disadvantage. So at this point, pretty much won this game because we have 2 shields. They have 1 shield. We have more health. Even with an energy advantage, they're not going to be able to overcome our shield advantage. So yeah, this game's pretty much on lock. And I actually just realized that I forgot to mention into round 1 in the 3rd game, that was actually a lag redo because it was one of those things where we both stopped attacking and then, or the game was lagging. If we kept tapping, it would attack, but I stopped tapping because I thought the opponent was lagging, and then it kind of caught up and they got a bunch of fast moves off. So unfortunately, I really do hate asking for rematches. So that's how that went. But yeah, this game is on lock. I'm just going to speed ahead another 10 seconds. I guess that's one benefit of doing it on a YouTube video like we have done here. So that's round 2. We're able to take out round 2. And now into round 3 up against SLC4. So we're going to type the team in here to pick it up. SLC4. Oh, whoops, not what I tried to do. And yeah, so their team's down here. So they've got Hypno, Munchlax, Alolan Muck, Azumarill, Toxicroak, and Noctowl. So again, we're kind of thinking that they don't have Skuntank, so Azumarill's looking pretty good here. But I think I might actually want to bring in Azumarill in the lead. and then bring Toxicroak in as that sort of backup, because Toxicroak is actually landing, it kind of holds up-ish against 5 out of 6. It's only Hypno that it's just a dead loss, nothing to be done. So I'm going to use Toxicroak as the safe switch here. And then I'm going to keep the Azumarill Frostlass core. So I think we've used Azumarill and Frostlass in almost every game so far, but that is what we're going with into game 1 of round 3. So let's get into it. Once we get this through the YouTube loady circle. Come on, we can do it. There we go. All right. Let's go. So Azumarill up against Alolan Mark. So again, this is an okay matchup for us. We just don't want to get hit by a Sludge Wave. But actually, it looks like they do have Poison Jab. So never mind. This is not a good matchup for us. Yeah, bad matchup. So then we were like, okay, we'll switch into Toxicroak to tank the Dark Pulse. But it was actually an Acid Spray. So I was like, okay, well, I mean, at least we didn't burn a shield, I suppose. And unfortunately, because it wasn't Acid Spray, this game is kind of lost for Toxicroak. Because if it was just a normal, no Acid Spray, like we shielded up a charge move, was lead situation, Toxicroak would have a chance, but unfortunately, even landing that Sludge Bomb, we weren't able to take down the Noctowl only because of that Acid Spray. So we bring back in Azumarill, hoping to farm up a little bit of energy on the Noctowl. We know we're going to be able to tank the charge moves and then, yeah, take down with another bubble. Alolan Mark going to come back in. We go straight for the, I think we were tapping on the Hydro Pump first, and then we switched over to the Play Rough. I think that's what I saw just there. So go for the Play Rough, burn a shield, and then we're just going to try and go for another one, because again, they're going to be threatened to have to go for a charge move instead of trying to farm us down, or they're going to have to shield this charge move. That's kind of that's where they were at. So they had to burn another shield there, and then we switch into Frostlass. Frostlass not going to be getting hit by super effective damage from the poison jabs, but obviously we have to be a little bit worried about the Dark Pulse. It was just an Acid Spray though, so we've just got Acid Sprayed, and now we're not in a great matchup. I think we actually might want to stay in the Frostlass matchup. So we might want to burn a shield here after first. So I'm kind of like, oh, okay. I guess this went even better than I thought it was going to go. So land the Shadow Ball. Oops, but we shield up this charge move anyway. It's not like an extra couple of bubbles. We're going to Powder Snow all the way down. Even if Frostlass was taken out, the Alolan Muck here, we throw this Avalanche and takes out the Alolan Muck. So we still had a Pokemon in the back. Maybe we could have got a charge move off there too. But going into game 2, we're actually going to switch the lead into Toxicroak. First time this tournament, we're going to bring in Skuntank in the back. So fantastic lead. Switch into Azumarill. So we were able to switch into Skuntank, and we were like, oh, that was so sweet. Like, that is the one reason that we brought in Skuntank in the back. And it actually just exactly paid off. So we go straight for the Sludge Bomb, which maybe we shouldn't have, but it actually burns a shield. So I guess doesn't really matter. And we didn't really want to be in where our opponent was in round 1, where they were really trying to get a shield bait and then not actually doing any damage at all. So that's kind of what we were avoiding. So go for another Sludge Bomb. Unfortunately, they get the charge move off first because they did have that energy advantage. Let it come through, hoping that we can tank it, and we can. And we're going to get this Sludge Bomb off. So that's kind of the best of both worlds, because it means that nothing's going to be able to come and farm us down either. Let's see Azumarill go down. And then in comes... In comes Noctowl. So Noctowl going to take out the Skuntank. And then we're going to bring in Frostlass at this point, because we want to keep our Toxicroak for the Muck that's in the back. And then Frostlass going to be doing some very nice stuff here up against Noctowl. Going to shield up this charge move just to keep Frostlass healthy. And then I think we might not go straight for the Avalanche, expecting that switch out, bringing the Toxicroak. We go straight for this Mud Bomb because we know he still has a shield. So we're kind of like, well, we really have to burn that shield. We do not want to get this Alolan Muck up against our Toxicroak. Let's the Mud Bomb go through, which I thought was interesting. I guess trying to keep the shield for the Noctowl, I guess. But going for the Acid Spray, I'm not sure if that was a necessary play. I guess they were making sure that Noctowl could come in and farm us all the way down, so they can get heaps of energy to go into the Frostlass matchup in the back, I suppose. But yeah, go for the Sludge Bomb, which does go through. And yeah, Noctowl, unfortunately, I guess was keeping a shield for that Avalanche because they knew the Avalanche was going to be a nuke, but unfortunately, just not able to overcome, basically. We're able to tank a Sky Attack, and then one Powder Snow will take out the Noctowl. So that is GG's there. So I think we've won round 3 also, but this is game 3 of round 3. Catching the fantastic lead of Skuntank versus Azumarill, bring in the Noctowl, and we switch into Frostlass. So we probably could have switched into Azumarill instead. I think that might have been a better play, and then keep Frostlass in the back again to use up that energy later on. But, maybe a bit of unpredictability isn't bad. So we go for the Avalanche. I'm kind of thinking that they might just let Noctowl go down. No, they burn a shield, so they really want to get another Sky Attack off, I guess. And they do actually get the CMP tie, so it did work out for them. But from the last game, we know that we can tank it. Sky Attack comes through, throw the Avalanche, which will I mean, maybe they want to burn both shields, because if they burn 2 shields, they'll definitely be able to take us out. Yep, burn both shields. So Noctowl going to be able to farm down the Frostlass here. But luckily we do have Azumarill. So Azumarill going to be able to come in, soak up all of the energy from the Noctowl, and then potentially could farm all the way down. I'm not sure about that, and I don't think I'm going to risk it in this game either. Yeah, eat the Sky Attack, and I think we're going to be able to eat another Sky Attack, and then before a third Sky Attack comes through, we're probably going to throw the player off. So yeah, we know we can tank 2. Second one comes through, but we don't really want to risk another one, so we actually go straight for the player off. We definitely could have farmed up a little bit more, I think, but it doesn't really matter, because actually, oh, that was a switch I did not see. Okay, Alolan Muck has arrived, I suppose. So now we go for the Sludge Bomb. I'm totally thrown off. That was well done on the opponent's part. Throw the Sludge Bomb, hoping that it would take out the Alolan Muck. Unfortunately, did not. Probably going to get hit by an Acid Spray here, because we know they do love that Acid Spray. Actually, a Dark Pulse, so I definitely was not expecting that. Poison Jab down the Alolan Muck. And then in comes the Noctowl. We go for the Sludge Bomb. We definitely didn't need to. We could have just gone for the Crunch there. Come on, lag. I take out the Noctowl. And in comes Azumarill. So we're like, okay, we still have it off or something. We would be able to shield. So we can get it off, land the Sludge Bomb, and then switch out into Azumarill. And at this point, it's pretty much game 1, because they don't have enough to outpace a player from us, I don't think. So we shield the player off. And then we are going to be able to get to a player off before them. I think anyway. Worst case, we would have been able to come in, get a couple of poison jabs off on the Skuntank, and that would have been pretty good too. So take down the Azumarill, and that is round 3. So going into round 4, up against Wilson the Piplup. Hop back over to the Sylph thing. Let me know what you think of this format, by the way, because it's definitely, I mean, it's new. It's completely experimental. It's not something I've tried before. But so up against Wilson the Piplup King, who also dropped out after this round. Now, they brought in Venusaur, which is very interesting. Noctowl, Azumarill, Medichimp, Frostlass, and Alolan Muck. So Venusaur is one that I don't think I've faced before now. So it's definitely going to be a first time for me. But we're kind of thinking that, okay, they've got Venusaur, they've got Noctowl, Azumarill, Medichimp, Frostlass, Alolan Muck. Toxicroak is doing okay here. And also, what's the check that we were doing all video? They don't have Skuntank. And because they don't have Skuntank or any heavy poison damage, I guess Venusaur, we're going to bring Azumarill in the back. Venusaur is definitely going to be a concern there, because we don't have Ice Beam, which would usually be threatening Venusaur, but we're going to risk it a little bit. Bring Azumarill in the back, and we're going to bring Toxicroak in the lead, and then we're still going to bring in Frostlass. I'm going to tell you now, I bring in Frostlass literally 100% of games in this tournament. It just really seemed to comp well in my teams, I suppose. But yeah, let's go into round 4 up against Wilson the Piplup King. So going in with the Toxicroak and catch Alolan Muck lead. Fantastic lead. So switching out instantly into Azumarill, and we didn't really bring a great Azumarill answer. So what we're going to do is we're going to go for the Sludge Bomb, hope to land it, or, I mean, if we land it, we can switch into Azumarill easy, and it goes through. So it was like, okay, fantastic. That is exactly what we wanted, because now we can switch into Azumarill. We know that he cannot overcome this, our health advantage. So even getting it, like, even if they got like 2 player offs off, we would still be able to win out this matchup. So definitely looking good. We farmed up extra energy, knowing that, again, this player off was not going to finish us off. And then get the player off now that we're at, like, you know, almost 100 energy, if not 100. Don't farm all the way so we can bubble down a little. Actually, no, we just didn't need to, I guess. I think we were hoping that we could bubble down, but it just didn't happen. So in comes back the Alolan Muck. And again, because it's a Snarl Alolan Muck, they kind of have to go for the charge move, or else we can get player offs off, which is really nice for us. So they let it go through, because obviously our Toxicroak is going to be able to come in, take down the Alolan Muck later anyway. Just let this come through. Going to take us out. It is a Dark Pulse though, so we're actually not quite able to get a player off. Would have been really nice though. But bring in Toxicroak. Just going to try and counter all the way down. We can tank a charge move. I'm actually not sure what a Gunk Shot would do, but Sludge Wave we can definitely tank. And then in comes Frostlass. So we go, all right, we're going to throw the Mud Bomb here to just kind of give us a little more thinking time. And then switch into Frostlass of our own. They do have the energy advantage, but because they're so weak because of that Mud Bomb, we're kind of just going to go straight for the Avalanches, I'm pretty sure. And because they have 2 shields, we're thinking they actually also shield baited us with an Avalanche. We farm up to the Shadow Ball, throw the Avalanche, and I think they'd have to shield even if they knew this was an Avalanche at this point, because they're definitely getting very low. So burn 1 shield, and then going to go for another Avalanche before their charge move. So I'm not sure if they were farming up extra, if they just knew that we couldn't get to a Shadow Ball yet, but they had to burn a shield there because of that. And then actually maybe it was a CMP tie. I think it was a CMP tie. So that's shield again. And it's the Shadow Ball this time. So I think that's why they took a little bit of extra time. In comes the Alolan Muck, and we switch into Toxicroak to try and take it out before a charge move is going to come through. In comes Frostlass, which is going to Powder Snow us down, and then we're going to get this Avalanche off, which will definitely take out the Frostlass, and that will be GG's on game 1. So going into game 2, we're just going to switch to the lead, same 3. We're going to go Azumarill in the lead, and then Frostlass and Toxicroak in the back. But it's actually a Venusaur lead, so we're like, So switching into Toxicroak, we're kind of like, okay, maybe we can land up the Frostlass later. And so because we have the energy advantage up against Azumarill, we're actually pretty comfortable going straight for the Sludge Bomb. It does burn a shield, but we're not too phased. Actually, a little bit of lag. Might have missed a bubble, maybe. Or maybe I'm just kind of missing it. Actually, it was probably that thing, that kind of bug, I guess, not a feature that Niantic has implemented, where there's a little bit of latency on like when a charge move is thrown. Unfortunately, I think the Silph ruling at the moment is that it's kind of it's a replicatable feature of the game technically, and it's not caused by lag. So I think it doesn't warrant a rematch at the moment. So we have Toxicroak up against Venusaur. We almost have a Sludge Bomb. We're just like, well, it would have been really nice to get it off, but it's not worth burning our shield here. So we let it go down. Bring in the Frostlass, because Frostlass is going to be doing super effective damage here. Go straight for the Avalanche, which we can get before a charge move comes our way, which is definitely fantastic. Or at least we get the CMP tie. I think that might have been it, actually. Burn that shield, and then switch into Azumarill, catching the Frenzy Plant. Fantastic for us. Unfortunate for the opponent. But we were just absolutely happy to sack Azumarill at this point. We're just going to let Frostlass do all the work. So we're kind of hoping that they would burn another bit of energy. It's actually raining, if you can hear that at all, but they actually switched, so we're able to get this Hydro Pump off. I hope that isn't too loud. Let me know if it's too loud, because, yeah, the rain has definitely started up. But Azumarill, we're actually lucky that Alolan Muck is burning his energy here. Going to be able to actually go for the Dark Pulse. Yeah, that'll definitely take us out. Bring in Frostlass, and I think we're actually going to maybe farm down, because we can burn a shield. I'm really worried that super realistic Hydro Pump sound effects. It's actually very funny. We are able to Powder Snow down, and that will be GG's there. Maybe I can move to somewhere else that's not going to be as loud of the rain. Wilson Piplup actually just bowed out, didn't want to do game 3 there. So, yeah, didn't do game 3, so and then dropped out of the tournament. So we're going to be going on to round 5 up against Beats Boy for the win. So we're going to switch over to this. Go into here. Beats. Back. And so at this point, I was #1 seed in the tournament at this point. So here we are. That's a spoiler. But yeah, if we were the top ranked person who was still undefeated at this point. So we're like, all right, this didn't go well when I became the #1 seed in regionals, but let's see how we can do. So up against a team of Bronzong, Toxicroak, Licky, Skuntank, Alolan Muck, and Azumarill. So it's kind of a similar team. We're a little bit worried about Licky, so we're going to lead Toxicroak. We're kind of hoping that maybe we could catch Alolan Muck or Skuntank or Licky or Toxicroak. Azumarill would be okay. Bronzong, not so helpful. So we did not want to bring in the... we just did the Bronzong lead. So lead Toxicroak, and then we bring Frostlass in the back because we have every game because it's so good when the shields are up. And then we're going to bring in Munchlax. Munchlax is basically going to be our safe switch if they have a Bronzong. So that's kind of our game plan there. If it's anything except Bronzong, leave Toxicroak. If it's Bronzong, switch into Munchlax. That is our entire play. So let's get into the battles. After the YouTube circle. And obviously this VOD will be available after it's live streamed too. That's kind of how I'm doing this video, so that it's like a video that can be watched after. But Toxicroak up against Bronzong. So, hello Munchlax. Actually, this game was also oh no, that's game 3. Never mind, foreshadowing. But switch into Munchlax. They switch into Toxicroak. So, into Skuntank. We're in an okay spot here up against Munchlax. It's a little IV dependent, I think. Actually, we might be able to go straight Body Slam. We actually decide to go for the Bulldoze though, hoping they don't shield, which definitely a bit of a risky play, I think, but it does burn the shield. So I guess we are getting to that point where we can, Frostlass might be able to sweep a little bit more just because they don't have the shields anymore. But we go for the Body Slam. We should have gone for straight Body Slam, and I think we actually would have won that matchup. I think that was a big boo-boo on my part. I went for a risk. I think that's probably a big mistake of this battle. So bring in Toxicroak, eat a Sludge Bomb because we know we could tank any charge move from the Skuntank. Hope that we could counter all the way down, which we luckily were able to do. And then in comes the Bronzong back, so we switch into Frostlass as soon as we can. And in comes Licky. So we're like, this isn't good. Yeah, this just is not good. I'm not sure if we can overcome this because they still have a shield. So one avalanche goes through, but we need to land another avalanche here and then land a shadow ball onto the bronzong into the back. So I'm not sure if we needed to shield here the body slam up against Licky Licky because obviously it is super resisted, but the damage kind of does add up. So they let the Licky Licky go down, keeping a shield for their bronzong. And at this point, we're kind of like, okay, well, we cannot get 2 shadow balls off. They shield this shadow ball. That's it for Frostlass. And then Toxicroak is going to come in and not be in a great spot. We're not going to be able to get enough damage off on the Toxicroak because he had like no health left. And that is GG. So we're losing game 1. So we're going to go into game 2 by switching the lead from Toxicroak into Frostlass. Maybe a bit of an overreaction. Like I really didn't want to get caught by the Toxicroak, but I'm not sure if that was the right play, I guess. But we switch into a Azumarill and they switch into a Azumarill too. So we do have energy advantage here. So actually we're looking all right. Go for the play rough. Just going to, I mean, obviously we're going to go straight play roughs. I'm wondering if I should maybe skip forward 10 seconds just because we know how it's going to go for a little bit. And bring it down to the red. No one's burning shields yet. It's just been classic Azumarill play. Another play rough comes our way. And then the switch time is up. So we're kind of thinking that maybe a switch was going to come in on this play rough, but they didn't go for it. So maybe this lands, maybe it's shielded. No, let's go down. So no shields still. But in comes Licky Licky, and this is where it would have been really nice to have Toxicroak, but I did not. So that's where we're at. So we switch into Munchlax, which I guess at this point we were kind of thinking, how can we kind of turn this into a win? And we were thinking maybe if we have Azumarill as an available sack swap, that might be useful later in the battle. So we'll see if that does eventuate. And by the way, it seems that the rain has subsided. So hydro pump sound effects have ceased, which is nice. Maybe should have put like some warning back there that the rain wasn't going to last forever, but somehow predicting that. Anyway, lick versus lick, body slam v body slam. Just going to keep going at each other. And we're going to get another body slam. Still no one's burning shields. So we're kind of like, okay, our whole plan was kind of burn their shields and they're not burning their shields. What do we do here? In comes Bronzor play because I had a Azumarill who would be able to like maybe soak some damage. I don't know, it's just not great. It has paused, so, but actually no, we're back. Okay, never mind, we're back. So Shadow Ball gets shielded. We're really not a great spot because now they've got no shields. We have 2 shields, but we have 2 weak Pokemon. We might have lost this game, which is very unfortunate. So down goes Munchlax, and then Azumarill is going to meet a very similar fate. So we maybe should have burned our shields earlier. I'm not really sure what on, but unfortunately that does mean we have lost our first round of the tournament. So it's not a great spot to be in. But at this point, there was still a 25% chance that 6-1 was the best score. So it was like, all right, haven't lost yet, can still shoot for the Continentals invite. So we end up leading with the Munchlax Licky Licky fight this time. And then we have Frostlass, and we brought back in Toxicroak in the back of this game. So, you know, we kind of wished we had Toxicroak in game 2. So we're like, sorry, Toxicroak, you can rejoin the squad. You're back. It's all good. So just going to keep body slam back and forth. Munchlax does win out this 1 shield matchup against Licky Licky. And we're assuming that we would win the 0 shield as well in the straight lead situation. I think we're just a little bit, I guess we're just outputting more damage per health kind of situation. But this body slam, I think, will take out the Licky Licky at this point. If it goes through, that is. It doesn't quite, but another lick and that will do it. So we've won the lead, which is all right. But again, we've both still got 2 shields. So I've kind of bet my match here against this opponent because shields, whereas the past 4 opponents to let go the shields. And yeah, it kind of left him in a bit of a pickle. So we bring in the Frostlass, but again, they've got 2 shields. So we're kind of like, oh dear, this isn't great. So burn 1 shield in the Psyshock. I think we're actually maybe going to go for an Avalanche bait here. Yeah, we're going for the Avalanche bait just to get like 2 extra Powder Snows in. So we'll see if this does pay off for us. And it does pay off. Okay, so now we have a little bit of an opportunity to get to another Avalanche. Unfortunately, we weren't going to get to a Shadow Ball, but it was actually kind of lucky for us because Avalanche is going to be it does some damage to the Azumarill. Then we can bring in Toxicroak. Toxicroak is going to be in a pretty good spot up against Azumarill. So we're like, okay, how do we turn this into a win? We need to land Mud Bombs onto the Bronzong in the back while also surviving and taking out this Azumarill. So we've charged up a fair bit of energy, and now we actually go for the Mud Bomb onto the Azumarill. This was just to weaken down Azumarill a little bit so that we could refarm a bit more energy. Unfortunately, we end up going for another Mud Bomb. Maybe Sludge Bomb would have been better. Although we get another counter, but now a charge move comes through. So I know what I was trying to do. Unfortunately, the execution just wasn't fantastic. And Frostlass going to be able to take it out by this Bronzong. Actually going for the charge move too. So yeah, it's GG's there. Able to take us down 0-3. So we are now 4-1 in this tournament as a whole. And we're going to be going up against Pride of HK. So we're still in it to win it. We can still win at this point. There's a 25% chance that we win. Actually, going into this round, oh no, not next round, never mind. So Pride of, and we'll take a look at their team. So they have Toxicroak, Lickitung. So we're going to another Lick Boy, and going from the last round, it was kind of like, oh dear, let's hope this goes a little bit better for us. Azumarill, Hypno, Alolan Sandslash, and Golbat. So this is actually a really spicy team, and I kind of really like it. So we're actually going to bring in Hypno for the second out of 2 times in this whole tournament that I bring in Hypno. The reason for that was it's got Thunder Punch, so it's pretty good up against Azumarill. It's got something for Golbat, and then it's got Fire Punch, which is going to be good up against that Alolan Sandslash. And our only other real Alolan Sandslash coverage was Toxicroak, and we didn't really want to bring in Toxicroak into this first battle, just because, there was Hypno. We kind of wanted to bait out, see what that Hypno can do. That's kind of if he was going to use it. So we're actually going to bring Munchlax into the lead here. Going to be able to beat Lickitung in the lead situation. Does all right up against Skuntank. Going to be pretty good up against Hypno. Can hit the Alolan Sandslash if it lands the Bulldoze. And yeah, so we're just going to go with the lead of Munchlax. And then can you guess what my third pick is at this point of the video? I bet you can. It's Frostlass. No surprise there. So yeah, going in with Munchlax, Frostlass, and Hypno. So let's get into the battles. Spinny circle, spinny circle. Okay. So Munchlax up against Lickitung. So we're like, all right, this is fine. We can win out this lead matchup. Just straight licks and body slams, licks and body slams. Back and forth, back and forth. It looks like we're both charging up for 2, although he throws it just before the second one. So maybe I think we actually decide to not go for 2 also. Oh no, we make a mistake. So at that point, I thought that we did have enough for 2 body slams because like the second circle is pretty much full again. But it looks like we were 1 lick away. So I guess you need to go like just past the full circle color fill thing, but it doesn't really matter anyway. Looks like we were I don't think we were trying to switch because we're obviously in a pretty good spot here. Just going to keep licking, body slamming. Going to keep going. I would have skipped ahead earlier, but I didn't know if someone was going to switch or something. Maybe we should have. Alrighty. Also, I should have mentioned that the lead situation that Munchlax does win in is the 1 shield. So we're going to go for body slam. And this will hit the Lickitung. Okay, looks like the live stream's still up. So maybe it went down for a second there. I'm not too sure. But Golbat going to take out the Munchlax now with 1 switch advantage. And we're actually going to bring in the Hypno here. Obviously, Hypno is scared of Shadow Ball, but because we were doing so much damage with the Confusion, and we had Thunder Punch, we were kind of like, we're going to stay in here. But they actually switch out into a Azumarill, which is like, that is the best thing that could have happened for us because we have Frostlass in the back. Frostlass would much rather be up against that Golbat and not be up against a Azumarill. Plus, our Hypno here has Thunder Punch, which is like, we can do some stuff to this Azumarill. So it's like, it just worked out really well for us, and it was just unfortunate for the opponent. So go for the Thunder Punch. It gets a shield, and then can we get to another Thunder Punch? Not quite, but that's all right. I think we're actually going to let it go down here. Play this away, and then Frostlass going to be able to come in, and they switch into Golbat. So I think we were going to farm up a fair chunk of energy on the Azumarill, and then would have had to burn a shield, or had to think about burning a shield. But then we could have get hit by a Shadow Ball from the Golbat, but they go the Poison Fang bait, and then we get the Avalanche off before they get a Shadow Ball, taking out the Golbat off. So they would have been like, definitely a sec, because the live stream seems to have paused on my laptop, but actually, it looks like we're going with game 2. So going into game 2, going with Toxicroak, Frostlass, and Munchlax in the back. So we've switched out Hypno for Toxicroak, expecting them to kind of account for Hypno from before, or maybe play a little bit better, because I think if they played perfectly, they would have won that battle. Even though we won the lead, I think that's kind of just how it kind of played out with the lineups. So we switch into Frostlass into the Golbat here, and then go for an Avalanche, which will be nice to land on the Golbat if it does. Burn a shield off the Golbat, and then I think we're going to burn a shield here because we really don't want to get hit by a Shadow Ball. And it's a Shadow Ball, so I think we should be able to get to another Avalanche before another Shadow Ball comes through. And because of that, I don't think this is a Shadow Ball. So I think it's just a Poison Fang. They come through, and it is. And going to be able to farm up a little bit of extra energy just because they did do that and then get the Avalanche off, which they'll probably at this point let it go down. Yeah, let the Golbat go down. And then in comes something. In comes a Azumarill. So it's kind of like, well, I was hoping that this Avalanche could do something, but it's not really going to do much. I'm not sure if we would have been able to get to a Shadow Ball. Maybe we could have, but we decided to switch into Munchlax, keep Frostlass for later as some sort of sack swap, or we also didn't want to let them farm up energy with their Azumarill, which they definitely would have been able to. So they landed Play Rough and then switched into Lickitung. So because of that massive health deficit, we are definitely going to lose this matchup up against Lickitung, but we have Toxicroak, so it's not really the end of the world here. Yeah, the stream's lag. Sorry, Yellow Grey. But yeah, Body Slam trade, going back and forth. It's going to be able to take us out here. And and this should finally take out Munchlax, and then we'll be able to bring in the Toxicroak. Oh, doesn't even quite. We could have got that Body Slam off too. I guess we wanted to switch into Toxicroak, keep the Body Slam for later. And then they switch into Azumarill as we're getting the Mud Bomb off, which is definitely unfortunate. We had the Sludge Bomb there, but it actually burns a shield, so that actually went perfectly for us because we didn't have to burn as much energy as we would have had to otherwise. And then shielded the Play Rough, and then I think we actually, yeah, we do go straight for the Sludge Bomb, which will take out the Azumarill, and then Lickitung is going to come back in. And even if they have a Body Slam ready to take us out, we have that Munchlax in the back that also has a Body Slam, so this Body Slam will take us out, and then we're going to hope that we can get the Body Slam off. Actually, bring in Frostlass. So that was definitely an oopsie on my part. I think I was panicking about whether I would be able to get the Body Slam off, and I was hoping that maybe Frostlass could farm down, but unfortunately wasn't able to. But we do very luckily get that Body Slam off, and that is GG. So they didn't want to do a game 3, and so we're going to the last round. We are currently 5-1. There is a 50-50 chance that if we win this last round, we will be in a what am I looking for? For a tiebreaker, basically a tiebreaker mini tournament to find the real winner of the tournament. So there was another person battling another person. If one person won, 6-1 was going to be the best. If the other one, it was going to be 7-0. So in the last battle, we're up against Shintopo, and they've got Noctowl, Azumarill, Bronze, Skuntank, Wigglytuff, and Claydol. So, bringing back some fun favorites. So I'm kind of thinking, well, again, Munchlax is looking okay. We don't want to bring in Azumarill as a safe switch because they have Skuntank. So instead, we're going to bring Azumarill in as a lead because Azumarill is looking really good up against the rest of his team. So yeah, we're going to use it as a lead instead. So we're kind of thinking, okay, well, we'll bring in Munchlax as that safe switch, kind of as we did earlier. Munchlax was our safe switch for if they had the Skuntank lead. So bring in the Munchlax, as that backup. And then third, I don't have to tell you, it's Frostlass. So yeah, going into the last round. Once the circle goes through. Boop-a-doop-a-doo. Let's go. And Azumarill up against Skuntank. I really should expect that at this point because that seems to, I think they know that that's where their weakness lies and they lead Skuntank accordingly. We switch into Munchlax and we end up seeing Noctowl. And that isn't what we wanted to see on the Munchlax switch. Maybe I should have prepared for that. It looks like the video froze for a second there, but yeah, get a boost point. But just let the Sky Attacks come through too. We're pretty bulky. Going to be able to get another Body Slam off once. Oh, actually, we're not going to be able to get another Body Slam off. Sky Attack coming in through first. So they do win out this matchup. We're kind of happy to let them. Bringing the Azumarill to farm up energy. Again, kind of similar to the earlier battle where we were like, hey, Azumarill can tank a whole bunch of Sky Attacks. We're kind of all right here. We can farm up a fair bit of energy with the bubbles. So again, we're kind of getting low. So we decided to go for the Play Rough, which I think was the right move. We don't hit all of the bubbles, hoping that we could maybe get a bubble in to take it down. But yeah, no. And here comes the Skuntank. And they had to burn the energy or else we would have got that Play Rough off. So eat the crunch, which is fantastic because it means we're going to get this Play Rough off anyway. I love when that happens. I'm not sure if they were going for a bait or if they were going for, they thought that the crunch could take us down, but it means that we burn a shield off them, which is definitely fantastic because now Frostlass is going to come in, shield up the crunch, and then I think we farm up past this avalanche because of the poison jab. Oh no, we don't. I probably should have. I think that's a mistake on my part, but we get the avalanche off anyway. Burn the last shield off of that Skuntank, which we shield on this crunch, and then we're going to be shieldless. So let's see how we do. Switching out into a Azumarill. So we were like, oh man, that's kind of the crux of the Frostlass reliance, because you need to land 2 Shadow Balls onto the Azumarill. We're going to be able to land that one, but we're not going to be able to get to another one before. Tried to sack swap there. We tried to sack swap, but unfortunately weren't able to land the sack swap. And then we try and sack swap again. I don't think I was the right. I don't think I counted right there, but get the Shadow Ball off. Doesn't quite take it the Azumarill, and that is GG. So that's game 1 of round 7. So going into game 2, we've switched out the Munchlax for the Skuntank because we were like, okay, we're accounting for Azumarill this time. And this time we have Azumarill up against Wigglytuff. So this is definitely an interesting matchup. We're taking tons of damage from Charm. And I mean, obviously, Charm is beating us in the damage race as opposed to Bubble. We go straight for the Hydro Pump to try and do mass damage. Burns a shield, so like, all right, that's not the worst thing. We're not going to be able to get to another Hydro Pump, though. And they actually do burn the energy. So that was to guarantee that we couldn't get to another play rough. Takes us out, and then we're going to be able to bring in Skuntank. So at this point, we're like, okay, maybe we're actually doing all right here. Charm is doing a lot of damage to us because of our Dark typing, though. So it's not the best, but in comes Skuntank. Go for the Sludge Bomb. Because ideally we would have Flamethrower, but you know, sometimes you just have to live with what you got. So go for the Sludge Bomb. Go for this Crunch, just because we figured there's probably a charge move coming. We may as well get this energy off rather than no energy. So land the Crunch. Maybe Crunch is actually, I don't actually know for sure which one's the better move out of Crunch and Sludge Bomb, like which one you should be going for in the mirror, because the morning of, kind of for the first time. So Frostlass come in, unfortunately not able to Powder Snow down, so burn a shield. Still going to run away with tons of energy though. So in comes the old Azumarill, and Frostlass is our last guy here. So we're actually going for the Avalanche Shield Bait. And that is the result. That means that game is over. Nothing to be done here, but game is kind of over already because we would have needed to land 2 Shadow Balls to take out the health of the Azumarill, and then also 1 to burn the shield. So, yeah, it's game lost here, which unfortunately means that we have lost round 7. So there was no chance of going for the 6-1 tiebreaker. Lucky for us, someone did go 7-0. So I didn't have to kick myself for like just missing out on the Continentals invite. So it's all good. And we are going to do game 3 up against Shintopo 2. So going with Frostlass, and then we have Skuntank and Toxicroak in the back to finish us off. So Frostlass versus Wigglytuff is not a good matchup. Wigglytuff wins that just by going straight Charm, has to burn 1 shield and 1 avalanche, can tank the second avalanche, and then will still come out on top. Go straight for the Sludge Bomb, and they don't shield, so I'm not sure if they were expecting the bait or if they were just, I feel like they must have been expecting the bait, because I don't think you would let Wigglytuff go down otherwise. But yeah, go for the Crunch. Crunch is 1 damage per energy, and Sludge Bomb is 1.04. There you go. So it's kind of similar. If you can get 2 Crunches off, that's obviously where you would want to be. But yeah, if you can only get 1 Sludge Bomb off, then Sludge Bomb definitely the better move. So thanks, Geordie Pop. And then we're going to bring in Toxicroak here to farm down the Skuntank. I keep going to say Toxicroak. It's a Skuntank. We know we can tank any charge move from Skuntank, so we're pretty good. It is a Crunch, so that's definitely better than a Sludge Bomb. Switch out into a Azumarill, and we shouldn't switch out here. I'm not sure why I'm prepared to switch. Maybe I was trying to sack it? Oh, I must have been trying to sack. If they only got Azumarill and the Skuntank left, because then, yeah, they only have Azumarill and Skuntank left. So Toxicroak is actually more valuable to us than Frostlass, despite Frostlass being so valuable like this entire tournament. So bring in the Frostlass, and they were actually going for the Ice Beam, which is actually a really spicy move in this cup. I don't think I gave it enough credit when he used it before. I'm not sure if we can. I think we might let this come through. And it's another Ice Beam. So like, can we get an Avalanche? No, we can't. So bring in the Skuntank, go for the Sludge Bomb, and doesn't quite take out the Azumarill. So hoping that we can counter down. We have 2 shields, so we're obviously looking pretty good. Burn a shield here. So I think if I was them, I wouldn't be going for any charge moves, because obviously it gives me the opportunity to get the quick moves off. Burn another shield on the charge move coming from Skuntank. Getting this Mud Bomb off onto the Skuntank, which I was kind of worried that because of lag there, they were going to be able to poison jab us down, which we definitely should win this matchup. and then in comes the Zoom rule and able to take it out, and that is GG's. So able to take out 5-2 there, which I'm actually pretty happy with. I'll come back to the thank you to the patrons. Sorry, patrons. So we'll bring up the whole tournament. Boom, 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 back. And so this is it. So, you know, round one, we were in like the 9th ranked, and then we came up to 6th, and then came up to 3rd, and then we came up to 2nd, came up to 1st, lost from 1st, went down to 3rd, and ended up in that, losing that 2nd bracket. So the winner of the whole tournament right here, absolute champion. Like, I had to take the whole thing. Del Piero FC from Hong Kong, I believe. And so we can bring up their team too, just to see another winner's team. So they were running Munchlax, Bronzong, Toxicroak, Frostlass, Skuntank, and Azumarill. So that is like, as I mentioned at like the start of this video, we've come full circle, able to win out the tournament with the exact meta team. Exactly my team, except I switched it out from Bronzong to Hypno. Maybe if I went Bronzong, it would have been me that went 7-0. I'm kidding. I'm not blaming Hypno, and I definitely made some interesting plays. And for some interest, I actually calculated the percentage that I used all of the Pokemon in all of the battles. So I used Frostlass in 100% of my battles. I used Azumarill in 63% of my battles, so just under 2/3. Then I brought in Munchlax and Toxicroak, both 53% of the time. Skuntank came in 21% of the time, and then Hypno way down at 11% of the time. So that was just some fun statistics there. So I really want to say thank you to all of the Sylph organizer people who, organized the entire Continentals wildcard thing. They've organized the entire season, all of regionals, Continentals, everything. And then also for kind of moderating, judging our tournament to keep it really smooth. And it really went so smooth. Like, it was done in a really short amount of time. Apparently we finished an hour ahead of schedule. So it was really fun. And thanks to all the people who were in the lobby, number 5, Wildcard, Continentals 5, Qualifier, Sorcerous Cup action number 5. Because, yeah, it was a lot of fun having some banter in the chat. And now I've closed it now. But I do want to say thank you to my patrons. I'll wait for the mini circle to finish up there. Thank you to brajSF, Negative Ben 10, Militime 9458, NotRandyN3wman and Yahwertle for supporting the channel, because I really do appreciate that. And thank you to everyone who is watching this live or watches it later on, because, you know, I really do appreciate that, actually, because this is definitely an experimental thing. So let me know what you kind of think about this format. Obviously, it's not going to be available instantly because it's going to have to process on the YouTube end of things. So thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, especially the subscribe one. And yeah, I was thanking my patrons. I guess I said in a different order this time. So there you go, patron hype. But yeah, again, thank you for watching. Obviously a very long video. We're about to hit the hour mark on this video. And yeah, I guess it was a very big tournament. It was only like my second ever 7-round tournament. My first one being in the Go Stadium Battle for the World, where I actually also went 5-2 in the freestyle tournament using a Dugong that did not have legacy moves. It was a non-legacy Dugong, and I didn't tell anyone, which I thought was quite funny. But anyway, I am definitely rambling at this point. So again, thank you to the Sylph team. Also, again, thank you to Dr. Trotter for that kind of talking me through the day before and also the morning of, kind of just modifying my headspace a little bit about how to think about the regionals, the Continentals qualifier. And yeah, thank you to you all. And with that, I will sign off here. So thank you for watching. Thanks for hanging out. And yeah, see you in more Sylph content coming soon. I mean, actually, we might see the July Sylph meta coming in the next couple days. So keep an eye out for a meta simplified infographic for that too. So see you next time. It hit exactly 1 hour 2 seconds. All right, we've hit our goal. I'm joking. Also, thank you for watching all of this. And